Hey everybody, welcome back to Trap Talk. It is another listener question
Extravaganza.
We got a special one for you today. We actually had you guys write into Facebook, so comments are coming in right now with questions. We're basically going to go in real time, guys. We're going to go to Facebook and see what the fans are writing in for us and get you guys to answer them. So on the spot. We also have some other questions that were sent in to our email address. If you want to submit a question, send it to askus@traptalkpodcast.com. And again, I'll get these guys to answer them for you. With that being said, to steal Zach's line, I'm going to go right into our Facebook here. If you're not following us on Facebook, why? You need to be following us on Facebook.
Exactly.
We post a lot of awesome content on here. So you definitely have to check that out. But let's go ahead and open up the comment section here, guys. And bear with us, folks. This is live. So we're going in hot just as you guys are seeing them, we're seeing them. So we're going to start at the top here. Hey, guys, friend of the show, squad mate, Trey Wilburn has submitted a question for you. I want to know how you guys keep your competitive juices flowing through the off season. We shoot a ton of Kolkatas through the winter here in Kentucky and Ohio and Indiana, but how do you guys do it? Great question, Trey. Guys, I'll turn that over to you to answer Trey's question.
Welcome to Season 3 of Trap Talk.
Brought to you by Kickoff, the choice of champions.
All right, folks, we got to take a quick second and give a huge shout out to our title sponsor, Kickoff. Me and Ricky both shoot them. We both love them.
Yeah, best gun in the industry. I shoot them, I sell them. Nothing better, folks. Get yourself a Kickoff, your scores will increase.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky's got hundreds and hundreds of hundreds with his. I mean, I've got a few hundreds, but I'm always working to get a little bit better, and they definitely help me, that's for sure. So on top of that, we also got to thank Winnig. I'm wearing the shirt today. Love this shirt. If you're down at the Grand, pick one up.
Yeah, Winnig, like I said, Zach, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds with my Winnig stock. You know, get a hold of Bobby, Luke, Bill, get an appointment set up. They will make you a better shooter with that Winnig stock.
Of course, yeah, the Grand's the great place to do it. Give them a call, get on their book. It's worth your time.
Just remember, winners shoot Winnigs.
With that being said,
Let's get back to the show.
my secret is go somewhere where it's warm. So I despise shooting in the cold. I've shot in the cold so much for so many years. You know, I guess, I don't know, 23 years in shooting now. And I remember there was times when I was shooting in Nevada County, California, where there was like snow coming down and you're shooting and it's cold and it's raining, you're shaking and you do that. And I will do it if I have to do it. But when I get to this time of the year, honestly, I don't get really jazzed up about competing. I'm more thinking, okay, I'm going to go duck hunting with Don Budd, or I'm going to go, work on this or work on that. And that's where my mind's at. And then if I, like Las Vegas is coming up next week, and then Tucson's coming up the week after that. Well, now I haven't shot in a minute. It's been a couple weeks, and I'm like, okay, I'm excited. And I've already started thinking about when am I going to start training. So this weekend, I'm going to go shoot some doubles. I'm probably going to get down to Vegas early and shoot some practice there on Sunday before. So like coming into the shoot, because I know it's going to be a great time, lots of gold, lots of silver. You got to be there, like all these things. I'm going to prepare for that. But from December to February, if there's nothing going on, I'm not particularly keeping myself sharp. If anything, I'm letting myself rest. I'm letting myself kind of redevelop that hunger for the game and that competitive drive so that when I get back into it, I can give it 100% effort, because I will tell you that I have experienced burnout, especially in the middle of the summer when you're going week in, week out, week in, week out. I just got off the phone with Jason Krause the other day, and I said, congratulations on the clay target. We'd love to have you on the show. And I'm like, how did it feel shooting all summer long? And he told me, he said, it was great, other than the fact that there were certain periods of the summer where I was feeling a little burnt out, and I was like wishing that I had a week off or 2 weeks off in between. And I think Rick can attest to that. I think a lot of top shooters can attest to, when you're going all the time and you're giving it 100% effort, you have to let the body recover at some point in time. And I use the off season as a good time to start to miss the game a little bit more again. And that's the most honest answer I can give.
Yeah, I would say, Zach, to be real honest, you should just say you have to work. That's why you can't shoot sometimes.
Well, yeah, but
I think
now
the recovery
and
was
spring
fair,
Grand,
though. Yeah.
when are you really shooting right now, Rick? It's not. There's not a lot.
Really, yeah. I was at the Missouri Fall Handicap for, I guess, 5 days I was there, 4 days I was there. Never fired a shot. Told everybody I was retired. I just hung out. I couldn't compete in the overall of the all-around because I was teaching over the weekend. So I was just down there to support Tyler and his Lindenwood team, your alma mater that was there shooting. So then I left to go, teach. But this time of the year, I usually teach quite a bit, and then rolling up into, Nevada State shoot. And then, Tucson, I'll be at Tucson just for the prelim week and then a couple of days in the main week. And then I'm heading out of town for a private event. And then I'll fly back and shoot the PITA Arizona State shoot. But as far as, like Trey, that be competitive juices and stuff, I mean, if I got a shotgun in my hand, I'm competitive.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just my nature. And, Trey, as a, pro athlete himself in other disciplines, baseball, and Trey can hit a golf ball out of the universe too, he understands that, but there's a lot of shooters that don't. And it's one of those that you got to love it. And if you love it, you'll keep striving to get better, because even at, my level, there's no perfect. No one averages 100. And we've talked about this before, Zach. No one averages 100. And I don't think anybody ever will average 100 if you shoot
all year.
Like we do.
If somebody decided one day, okay, I want to get that 100 straight average in singles, and it's 1,000 single minimum, I mean, could it be done?
Absolutely.
It could probably be done, but you just start the year every year and shoot the first 1,000 out at Spanish or somewhere that you think you can get a shot at it, and if you break all 1,000,
so what you're telling Paul is Stu Welton?
I mean,
that's another story. But
you got to look at it and you got to say, what am I doing it for? I mean, I never go into a season, and like Rick said, I don't think that it could ever be done through the 12 months if you truly shot all the shoots that you were wanting to shoot. I think that
if
would
you
be,
shoot all the major shoots from coast to coast, absolutely not.
I just don't. I don't see it happening. I mean, but if you start to tighten that window up, obviously the less targets you shoot, the better opportunity you have for that really high average. If you have a ton of targets out there, you're going to deal with more weather. You're going to deal with more issues. You're going to deal with more terrain, more background,
it depends.
More everything.
It depends. If you just shoot the summertime, if you just shot May to August, is there an opportunity there? Yeah, it could be. But it's like, in the words of Dagan Voigtman, Dagan says, the more you shoot, the closer you are to missing.
That's
what he says. Now, and here's the one thing is, I believe that an average doesn't solidify who you are. I mean, because, look, Zach fought all year to get his average over 99, and he did. And why? Because, we shot the Spring Grand, and it was sporty. Ryan Glow stood right next to me at the Spring Grand, broke a 181. So I know in Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, and I don't know if Illinois does, but I know those three, they have a ton of Calcuttas every weekend. Or they might have Calcuttas on a Thursday night or a Friday night and a Saturday night and a Sunday. So you could shoot, and there's some good money to be won, because I just was at Harrison, Gun Club. Shout out to them guys. Great time. Thanks for all the hospitality. It was just an awesome shoot, and I think we had just under 20 squads, so just under 100 people. Some good money to be won. Absolutely.
It's a good turnout. And if I was in Ohio and there was a Calcutta every couple weeks and there was some good money in it, and I was going, I would probably want to win. I mean, I'm not saying just because it's the wintertime you don't want to win or you don't want to be competitive. I'm just saying, if I'm not at the, for me, there's just not a lot going on this time of year around Missouri, other than the fall handicap. And I did shoot that. You finish that one, and unless you're hopping on a plane and going to, Florida or Arizona or California or Nevada, it's just not a lot unless I want to go to Ohio and shoot Kolkata shoots. And
it's not feasible to do that.
Correct.
Correct. I mean, we can. I mean, and it's one of those things. But like here in Nebraska, they don't really shoot all winter long. So like right now, we have a 5-stand league. I'd be out there shooting tonight, but we had to, do a podcast.
Hey,
so I told my buddy Predmore, I said, hey man, I got a podcast to do. Sorry, So, and that's one of the things is, yes, I think more clubs need to put in some shoots or try to grow a shoot. I mean, honestly, and if you want to try to grow a shoot, just get a hold of John Slinker. He can help you out, as we're doing here with the Nevada State shoot this year.
I know he could do that, and I think that for people that aren't going around and shooting all the shoots in the summer and shooting thousands and thousands of ATA, I think the best thing you can do to stay competitive is the winter leagues. I mean, get in a league, get your local gun club, and keep shooting consistently. We have one at Gateway every Thursday night here in St. Louis, and it has 10 to 15 squads pretty much every time they run it. And it's not like this crazy win millions of dollars type of situation, but it's a bunch of guys fighting over $20 a night and fighting over bragging rights. And I think,
but it's still competitive.
It's competitive, and everybody wants to win. And you want the bragging rights to, at the end of the 10 weeks, to be like, yep, my team was the team that won. And I think that as long as you have some competitive nature, that keeps the sport fun. And if you're just going out there and you're like, I got to get done and I'm done with this and I don't care and I want to go home, well, then what the heck are you even doing, right? Like, if you're going out there, give it effort. Give it 100%.
Well, and that's the one thing. So, Trey, great question.
Yeah, Trey, thank you for that. That was awesome. Guys, thank you for the in-depth answer on that. All right, we're going to keep it moving here. We're staying on Facebook. Next one comes in from Jay Matthews, and Jay Matthews says, any advice for shooters with no eye dominance to be able to shoot 2 eyes? So is Jay saying he doesn't have eye dominance? Yeah. Shooters with no eye dominance to be able to shoot 2-eyed.
Yeah, there's people that don't have a right eye or left eye dominant. They just are basically equal right down the middle.
Yeah. And you should be able to. That's one of those things. So my best advice for that is to get the sight tube, not the sight blinder that goes on the side of the rib or whatever.
The one that looks like a straw, right, Rick? That looks like
exactly.
A straw. Yeah.
And it'll be about, I think they're about 3 inches long, 2 to 3 inches long, and it's slotted, and then the last inch and a half, it's a solid tube, so only your eye, you're looking down the rib, can see the dot, your bead, so to speak.
I agree.
That's
with
what
Rick.
I would recommend.
The only thing I would add to that is just make sure the gun fit is right, because I find a lot of people, I just did a lesson the other day, and I looked at the guy's gun, and his eyes were buried behind the rib, and he'd been shooting it that way for a long time, and he'd been like, yeah, I'm having a problem on my left-hand side. And I'm like, well, duh, because the barrel is pushed up into his right eye, and whenever he goes left, his left eye sees it. So if you were in a dominant situation where they're both equally, you would really want to make sure that you give your right eye, if you're shooting on the right side, a better chance. So make sure you put the comb up high enough that you're not obstructing the ocular vision of that eye that you're shooting off of.
Yep.
And on top of that, just make sure that you're getting your eyes set before you call pull. Like, a lot of the times that dominancy issue can happen, or that crossover happens when you mount the gun and you don't get your eyes set. I think if you really...
And Zach, that's what I was saying with that tube. So that slotted part, the only way to see that bead is to be level and be able to look down it. If you're too low or you're off to the side, you won't see the white dot, or I think they make them in, a fluorescent to orange or green.
And that helps a lot. And even with the mount with your head, like if you think about it, if you mount like Ricky does, where he mounts that gun and he's straight on, his eyes are pretty level. And now there's other people that shoot across their body, and then they're looking over the bridge of their nose, like I'm turning in the camera right now. If you get to a position where you're really turning your body or shooting across your body, especially on the left-hand side, you're just making it harder for your eye to see on the right. Like, it would be opposite for a left-handed shooter on 5, right? It would just flip. But for me, if I'm shooting across my body on post 1, I'm giving my left eye every opportunity to jump in and say, I want to play, right? So you gotta not give it opportunities to want to get into the punch bowl. You have to allow that right eye to see.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's great advice, guys. So Jay, give it a try. Try the tube, check your gun mount, check your setup on the gun there, and let us know how it goes. All right, guys, we're keeping it moving here. The listener extravaganza continues. All right, our next one comes in from Oliver Patton. Again, we're on Facebook here. I know everyone has different levels of guns along their trap shoot journey, but how many did you guys hang on to after upgrading? Or is it out with the old when you get something new? Thanks, Oliver. Rick, what about you? You got a big safe full of the old ones, or?
I got a couple, but no, everything is Gandhi.
All right.
So
the one you have is the one you have.
I shoot my Krieghoff trap special combo. I do have other Krieghoffs in there. So, but
well, you got your sporter in the safe, right?
Oh, I got my sporter. I got a couple other guns in there, Krieghoffs and stuff, and another couple trap specials. But honestly, I'm a fan of, listen, this is a gun you're shooting. If you keep the other guns,
you go back.
Unless you're shooting them, get rid of them. Personal opinion. I mean,
I agree with Rick. My reason was much more monetary than that. If I wanted a different gun, I needed to sell the old gun to get to the new gun. So it wasn't like I was, Brewster's Millions, where I could just have all these guns in the safe.
Brewster's Millions.
I said, okay, if I want to go from this gun to this gun, I said, Daddy, what do you think? And he's like, okay, well, we got to sell this one. We're going to get this one. We're going to move it around.
With me.
And so, not to be, like, oh, if you have an unlimited amount of money and you have some, personal relationship with your gun and you want to keep it, then yeah, I'm fine with that. I've got 2 guns that I still have that I shot. The 1100 that I started with, I still have that because my uncle gave it to me. For sentimental reasons, I was never going to sell it anyway. And then I have a Perazzi Grand America 88, and I have that one because that was when I started shooting for Ludic, and they gave me the gun. So I didn't need to buy a gun at that point in time. That was the first free gun that I got. And because it was a free gun, I'm like, well, I really don't need to sell this Perazzi. But every other gun before that, if I was changing, I had to sell one to get one. So sometimes you'd sell one and get one, and then it wouldn't work. You'd have to sell that one and get a different one. So it was like playing musical chairs with shotguns.
That's exactly what I had to do on I had my first Perazzi, an MX3 Special, and shot it like 6 months and shot really good with it. But I came upon a Grand American 1, which is the same as a Grand American 88, except for the Grand American 1's the unsingle version. Basically, it's the Grand American 88's an MX8 is what it is.
It's an MX3 with MX8 with MX3 barrels, basically.
MX3 barrels, exactly.
So it's a good mixture.
Yeah, and so we had to sell the MX3 to get the Grand American 1, and such. But yeah, every other gun, I mean, I've parted ways with and didn't really, regret it. I know my my Perazzi that I shot really well, that Wilkinson did the barrels on, and I broke the 700 straight with. The barrels are currently on Garrett Scroggins' side plate Perazzi. So if I wanted to get the barrels back, I could, and by buying them and trading them out with him or something. But yeah, there's no.
You could probably arm wrestle it out of him or something.
But and like Zach said, I mean, he's got his Krieghoffs, and his one Krieghoff is because his other Krieghoff he had to give to his dad. That I was there, I witnessed it, so.
Yeah, I mean, he does like
Big Daddy's got a free K80.
he grabs stuff every once in a while, just kind of how it goes. Shells go missing, guns go missing. It is what it is.
Yeah. I'm just over here wondering why the producer of Trap Talk is shooting a Perazzi while Rick's got tons of K80s in that safe.
I really don't have tons. I've got a couple that are mine that are. I might break a new one out for the 2026 season. We'll see. I got nice.
That'll be exciting to see.
Nice
for sure.
engraved gun. We'll see. I don't know.
We'll see.
Still like doing
Oliver, good question. We appreciate it. We appreciate everybody writing in here. Let's keep it moving here.
Hey, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a real quick break, and we got to thank Ron Prescott from Mid-State Precious Metals for everything they do for the trap shooting community, coast to coast, for all your gold and silver buying needs. And on top of that, new announcement, they're a sponsor of the 126th 1986 Grand American.
Finally, he said it right, folks. Grand American. Yeah, Ron is a great guy. He's a sponsor of the Backfence Shootout at Nevada State Shoot and Ohio State Shoot. And also, we got our gold for our Trap Talk event at Nevada State Shoot. And the 77th annual Nevada State Shoot, they bought all theirs from him. 680 ounces of silver to be exact, folks. You're missing out if you're not there.
That's a lot of silver. And honestly, if you're not buying from Ron, you're probably overpaying. So whether you're buying it for your gun clubs or your shoots or for your personal use, you got to give them a try because they're big supporters of the Trap Shooting Nation. So it's awesome. With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
All right, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a quick break, and we got to welcome a new sponsor to the show, RGS Bore Stripper. It's a great product. Ricky, tell them how they can find it.
Go to their website, rgsguncleaner.com. You can get the 1 8-ounce bottle, free shipping, 2 8-ounce bottle, and you get the 2-ounce travel bottle, and it's free shipping also. Or just get the little 2-ounce bottle for travel.
Yeah, they sent me some of this product, and I used it on my Krieghoff choke tubes the other day, and it got the plastic out like in a minute, and it was super cool and super good. So if you like cleaning your gun, you like eliminating plastic, and you like shiny bores, give them a try for sure. Thank you so much for supporting the show.
Yeah, we'd really like to thank John Weber, the owner, for the support. He's doing an awesome job.
Yeah, we really want to thank John. We appreciate the support of the show. Anybody that supports Trap Talk, you guys need to support them and get this stuff because it's awesome.
And with that, let's get back to the show.
Next question comes in from a top fan of ours on Facebook. That's Alana Paulson, friend of the show, obviously.
Yep. Student of mine.
Yep. And her question is, what is the best way to deal with workers who are behind? Okay. Let me do Alana a little bit better than this. Let me read for her a little bit better, okay? What is the best way to deal with workers who are being distracting, walking alongside the trap line, talking to the scorekeeper, on a phone call, at the score stand, throwing boxes and clays while shooting is in session, etc.? I feel your pain, Alana. Without being rude, ? And now other supporter of the show, sponsor of the show, Randy Freston wrote in a quick response here.
I don't know.
Alana, have Matt Paulson handle that for you.
that is
Dad,
Alana's dad.
Right?
So, yeah.
Obviously, Dad, handle that for you. Stand on guard, Matt, behind Alana. But hey, I just want to shout out to Alana here really quick. We did see them at the Grand American. Obviously, they came by the studio.
Yep.
And I deal with this too. For some reason, I can't hear anything if Tish asks me a question, but if I'm shooting handicap on the 27-yard line, I can hear a pin drop. So I'm very interested to hear how you guys handled this situation. So how should we instruct Alana here on this one, guys?
Well, I mean, there's two ways to handle it. There's the nice, polite way of saying, hey, folks, we're shooting, get off the phone. Or there's the Rich Bullard method with, hey, stupid, but wait, But in all seriousness, honestly, if there's people coming up to the score stand, and everybody on my squad, and Zach knows this, someone's coming to the score stand, anybody in the squad will tell them to leave. But if I'm there, or I will stop, and I will walk over and say, what do you need? We're trying to shoot.
Yeah.
And most of the time they're like, well, I'm just talking. You can do that after the event's over or whatnot. Right. I mean, I've talked to management before. Honestly, my opinion of this whole deal is the workers are not trained properly.
Right. They don't have the situational awareness, right, Rick? They don't understand what's happening. And so they're not doing it from a malicious standpoint.
No,
it's more just they just don't know, right?
They don't understand.
You have to look at it this way. I mean, really, people, break this down. These are part-time workers coming in for 1 week doing a shoot, and these are people that are available, which means they don't really have a job that requires them to be there that week, right? Like, how many people have that luxury other than maybe people that are a little bit hard on their luck, or retirees, or younger people? So the pool of employees that are doing what we're asking them to do isn't necessarily the greatest pool where I would go get talent, first of all. But my thing is, when I shoot, it's all Murphy's Law. And Murphy's Law is, if it can go bad, it will go bad. So whenever I go out there, I'm not thinking, oh, this guy popped out of the house and now my day is ruining. I literally expect expect score sheets to go flying. I expect people to make noise. I expect cars to go off. I expect the house to run out. I expect the trap to break. I expect broken targets everywhere. I expect all of that. And if you expect all of that and you're just cool with it, it won't bother you. But if you go out there and you're the kind of person that's like, oh my God, the trap's out, and now I'm 80 straight, and you're done. You're done. So you got to change your attitude on what's happening, because it's gonna happen. So you can only control you. You can't control outside forces. You can control how those outside forces affect you and your mentality and how you present yourself, or you can let other people win and get in your head and mess with you. Now, I would be of the group of people that would just say, politely, and I don't think Rick's ever seen me blow up on anybody, but on the line, but I would say politely, I'd probably go up to him and say, hey, we're trying to shoot here. Could you please take it behind there? Could you, something along the lines, or educate them, pull them off to the side after you're done and just say, hey, this is what we're doing and this is where we're at, and try to help them and educate them, not to embarrass them. I think when you embarrass people, especially in a crowd, they don't respond to that well. They're probably not going to learn, and they're probably not going to do a better job later, and there's probably going to be some resentment. I've seen people piss off a scorer so much that the scorer only messed up on their turn every time. I'm like, I know that person like had a vendetta, and it was like some Italian old Sicilian stuff where they hide in the bush and they stab you with the knife, right? Like it was
that's exactly why sometimes shooting with Bullard is not good. No, but Zach's right, and that's why a lot of times with the score, now people behind us, other shooters, I've had words, good and bad, over my shooting career. I'm not going to say I haven't with people, because it's like, hey, they should know better. And when you turn around and give them the hey, shh, and they go huh, and think it's funny, my instant blood level goes.
Yeah,
Ricky has different levels of anger that he can hit at certain periods of time, and you don't want to get in his way when he goes there. Like
Zach's seen it, but with the scorekeepers, I will never piss off a scorekeeper. I will always talk to them with the utmost respect, because they're in control, and people don't realize that. And that's why I always tell the squad, guys, something happens, let me handle it. And I've had people on there that tried to. Zach's done it before, and I've told Zach to stay in his lane a couple times. I'll handle it. The reason why is I know the rules to a T, to where let's just fix this and blah blah blah, and then hey, it's fine. Oh, and they're like, oh, thanks. Well, the last guy, he basically told me to pack sand and blah 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 blah. Well, guess what? That guy is going to remember, like Zach said, he's going to remember that guy, and it could be the next day, the day after. It could be a year later, and that guy's going to go, oh, I remember him. Loss. And he can do it afterwards. There's nothing you can do. Because I've actually witnessed it at shoots where, you can change the score in between changes on the post. But once the leadoff shoots the first shot, can't change anymore. And I've seen him at the end of the round. The guy's like, hey, man, I didn't miss that target on the first post. The guy's like, and then they con him into changing it. And it's happened good and bad, where the guy's like, no, I know the rules. I can't change it. And the shooters get all pissed off. And, so never piss off the scorekeeper. That's the best advice. You don't
need to do that. I mean, just handle your
But
business the best way you can.
The other thing is, Lana, is your dad's there watching you. If there's something going on, is turn around and tell your dad, like, hey, can you, and let your dad go over and say, hey, guys, handle this. Or he could walk up. Well, technically, if it's the scorer, no one can be on the sidewalk to the shooting line per the rules. So your best bet is to stop and turn around and say, hey, we're trying to shoot. Can you go away if it's another scorer, blah, blah, blah. Or if they're on the phone, be like, hey.
I'm not a big fan of the team helper proponent, whether it's a father or coach or whatever. I think everyone needs to learn how to do it themselves and handle their own business, because, all these kids out there, especially these young ones with these AIM programs, something goes wrong and then all the coaches go to fix it, and the kids don't learn how to fix it, right? Nope. I think you need to learn, like I had to learn through pain of messing up, how to fix things, because
which
there was a time,
lot,
I remember
folks.
one of the most painful things I ever had happen to me in shooting was I broke a 199 out of 200 at the Silver Dollar one time when I was a junior or a sub-junior, and I was going to win champion for that event. It was the championship singles, and I did not check the score sheet on the last box, and I broke a 199. The score sheet had a 0 in one of my things and an X, and there was no initial on it. And when it went into the house, it came back as a 198. I went in there and looked at it, and it had an X, but it also had a circle, and there was nothing on it. So there was nothing I could do. Ever since that day, I look, and it's my responsibility. Without feeling that pain, I would have never learned that lesson. And I think that you have to learn painful lessons sometimes in life to grow and to become a better person.
Well, you look how I do every time we shoot. I take a picture of the score sheet.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
You do, and that's a good thing because
I learned.
Again, if you're with Rich Bullard and you're mean to the scorekeepers, then they might put some circles on it.
Rich is fine. Hey, we're not dragging Rich here.
We're
Rich
gonna
is
drag
fine.
him. I'm gonna drag him all next week.
In about 11 days, we're gonna really drag him. So
yeah, we'll have a good time.
Yeah, and guys, I think this is really helpful. You guys are competing at a certain level for sure. I'll just say from the weekend warrior shooter perspective that it is, it takes you out of your concentration to go and talk and deal with stuff sometimes, but it takes you more out if you're rude or upset or angry. It takes you more out of the game. So I try to stay like, I saw Mitchell Lovelace's old Sunrise Productions video back in the day on DVD, and he used to say, when I hear people talk behind me, I just turn and look because I say, oh, you know what? Those are just my buddies, or oh, that's just some shooters. Instead of him standing there stewing and wondering what's going on behind him, he would just address it, and that does help. But I can tell you, yes, the younger scorekeepers, and then they have their friends come up and they're chatting while they're scorekeeping.
Oh, yeah.
If you, like Zach, like you're saying, if you can expect that stuff's going to happen, you're already ahead of the game.
Murphy's Law. Just live that way.
You got to do it. Well, Alana, great question. Thank you so much for sending that in. Make sure you remind your dad he's on guard duty back there behind you. All right, so we are moving on. So next question coming in on Facebook comes from Jay Goex. Sorry, Jay, if I messed that up. How do you keep someone who gets frustrated easily to calm down and relax and forget about the last bird without getting them more frustrated?
Well, you just got to have patience. I mean, it's experience a little bit, maturity. All the young kids, it seems like, they chip a target sometimes and they throw a shell, I mean, yes, I've thrown shells in the past and stuff, and all it does is make you look like an idiot. I mean, you just control your nerves, because if you can control your nerves, guess what? You're going to break more targets.
Yeah, I think Jay's writing this question as a coach or a father or something in that line.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Looks that way.
Yeah.
And what I would say is you have to let them get there on their own. Like the greatest gift that my parents ever did for me when I shot as a young shooter is they got the heck out of my way. They let me experience it and figure it out on my own, and then they surrounded me with mentors like Ricky Marshall, Dave Kelly, Sean Hawley, other people that were doing it at a high level. And if you're a young person and you're a sponge and you're reading into this and you see how these guys act, you start to say, okay, these are my heroes. I'm going to start to act like them. I'm going to start to walk how they walk, talk how they talk, act how they act. And I think, you find good people to look up to in the sport and aspire to be like them. That's a good way of doing it. But whenever, if I was ever in a piss poor mood and my dad was like, well, why? I don't think I would have resonated with that at that age. I think you have to feel that and you have to go through that. And all you can do is be supportive and have patience, like Rick said. Have patience, be supportive, be there if they want to talk about it. But sometimes you don't want to talk about it. You just want to, kind of move on and let it go.
Give them their 5 minutes. And,
a little
calm
space
down.
doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah.
And use the old line that I was told years ago by, one of my father figures, Tom Buxman, a.k.a. Turbo, which Zach knew Turbo really well too.
I went fishing with him.
Turbo used to say, "You haven't shot your lowest score." I said, "Damn, this ain't good. I broke a 68 today or something."
Unless you go with a 0, you ain't hit that lowest score yet.
That's what he used to say, and it was funny, and we'd laugh about it. But listen, enjoy it, and really, here's the one thing I taught the youth group, the Kansas City Crushers, and some of their kids and their high school team, and I told them all, have fun, enjoy. This is one of the greatest sports that you can do, and have fun. It's an expensive sport. So if you get mad, you're just wasting ammo and wasting shells and targets and time. Listen, enjoy it. Have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't want to turn one loss into 2 and 2 into 3 because you're taking yourself out of the zone of trying to, concentrate. I think, Zach, what you're saying, I've seen some, as we all have, parents dealing with their younger shooters in different ways, right?
Yep.
Sometimes you have a parent who is, had some competitive experience, right? And they handle it a little bit different. The best thing I think that I've ever seen, though, is when that parent or the coach they're on the bright side of everything, right? Their job is just to stay positive, right? Hey, We've got this, stay in it, next bird. Don't sweat it. If you start to be like, what happened out there? What are you doing? Get your head in the game. Like, I don't think tough love. I've never seen tough love work on the trap line. I think just be positive as you can be. And they may not respond to it. They may still be in a little bit of that grumpy space, right? Because, they're dealing with the emotion of it. But I think our job is just to stay positive.
That is exactly right.
So, Jay, thank you for the question. Sorry if I butchered your last name there. We are moving on.
All right, folks, we need to take a quick second and get to a new show sponsor, Big Red Motorsports. Big Red, they're personal friends of mine, Jason and George Lee, and they're also a personal sponsor of mine.
Now, I'll say this. Ricky looked great driving around in that side-by-side. I got some free rides down at Tucson, the Autumn Grand. I think it's awesome that they deliver all across the country, and obviously they love trap shooters, they love trap shooting, and they're doing a great job.
Listen, they got Can-Am, Kawasaki, CF Moto, Triton trailers. Hit them up. We'll take care of you guys. With that being said,
let's get to the show.
All right, next question coming in from another top fan. Aaron Moister writes in and says, thoughts or experience with Guns International 725 combo? Yay, nay, or indifferent? Okay. Well, it doesn't say Craig off
Guns
K80
Guns
there,
Unlimited
Aaron.
725 combo?
So
That's what he said,
725
yeah.
is a Browning, is what that is.
Yeah. Guns International is where he wants to
Guns
buy it?
International is where I'm going to say it's the online deal. I've never dealt with Guns International.
Yeah.
I'm not an online buyer of firearms at all. I'm seeing
Aaron,
it
if
in
you're
my
worried,
hand.
I would say I'm going to put
Call
Ricky's
me,
phone
I'll
number
get you
down
a
here.
candy.
Yeah, I'm going to put Ricky's phone number at the bottom here. If you're worried about buying from Guns International, we don't have much experience here, but just call Rick, right, Zach? I mean, isn't that the easiest thing to do?
He'll help you. Here's the thing for any gun question, I'm just going to give the blanketed response. There's no bad guns. I think it's what works best for you. I think works best for your budget, what you shoot well. I think you can go from a $500 gun all the way up to a $50,000 gun, and you can have success if it fits you, if it shoots the right way. At the end of the day, I shot a Browning. I don't think there's any problem with a Browning. I love my Krieghoff. I would not shoot any other gun if I had the choice, and I feel that strongly about it. But I don't think people need to get in their head if they don't have this gun or they don't have that gun, they can't compete, because step one is gun fit and a competitive attitude, and then just working on the game. And if you do that, you do those things, you'll be surprised how much stuff you could win with whatever gun you end up shooting, right? And then from there you can get into the finer nuances of what we need and how it works.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good point. I mean, listen, we know we could run down the list of top shooters who have shot Brownings or are shooting Brownings. So, it's whatever gun's going to work for you, like Zach's saying. All right, we're going to keep it moving. Thanks for the question, Aaron. We appreciate it. The listener extravaganza coming in live from Facebook continues. The next question coming in, we're staying with guns here for a second, looks like. So Jim Wimmer writes in on Facebook and says, first-year trap shooter using a BT99 Plus, a lot of top shooters use a unsingle, so I shouldered one and the view looks more open. Makes sense. I like the view, but never shot one. Heard a few guys say, oh, I can't shoot one of those things. Could you explain why you guys shoot an unsingle over a top single or maybe even a mid single like a KH6 special? Thanks. That's coming in from Jim, guys.
So, Jim, the unsingle, it gets you more eye awareness, so your eye sits, even though I see a figure 8, you don't have the barrel right there, so you have just the rib. So you can see around it. There's a lot more open vision with a unsingle versus a top single, but it's everybody's preference. I started with a top single. I shot one from 1988 for about 6 months, and then 37 and a half years I've shot an unsingle. So I like the unsingle better. I think you acquire the target quicker, in my opinion. So
yeah, I mean, to echo what Rick's saying, it's just a visibility thing. It's a visibility and a preference thing. Unsingles are going to give you more awareness of the target because you have the barrel pushed out of your eyes. I would say that's an advantage. The disadvantage to the unsingle is the barrel's really far away from your eyes. So you don't have a unit to make a shot if you shoot off the barrel. And also if you were to cant the gun excessively and you had a high point of impact unsingle, well, there's people that have shot 60-40 or 70-30 top single guns with flat ribs, and they've shot them really, really, really well. Then they go to an unsingle that they cant the crap out of, and maybe they've got it shoot 80, 20, 90, 10, 100% high. Well, if you cant that unsingle, it's like a pendulum, right? It's going to go out of whack. That thing could be shooting to the left or to the right based on that cant, and that could cause you to not be able to shoot it well. Along with those single barrels, I know some old-time shooters that shoot off the end of the barrel, and they use that reference point of that barrel, like a Model 12 shooter, to break the targets. And, not that it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I mean, we're not going to get into that, but there's people that actually physically use the barrel as a okay, I blot the target out and I shoot it. Especially when we're dealing with really, really flat guns, older guns, 870s and Model 12s and things like that.
Yep.
I shot a Model 12 the other day just to try it, and the way that I had to shoot the gun because it was so flat is I basically had to take that barrel and drive it through that target, and when I drove it through and pulled the trigger, it was a big old black cloud. I didn't have the same visibility as I have on an 80-20 Krieghoff with a high rib where I can see that target all the way through the shot. I physically had to cut through the bird with that Model 12 and almost lose sight of the bird as I'm shooting it. But that's the style of shooting. I mean, it can work for you for sure.
Cool. All right, so we're going with mainly visibility, right, guys? I mean, that's kind of the big advantage.
That's
of
my
that
opinion.
Unsingle. Yeah, I love it. Okay, great. Jim, thank you so much for sending the questions in, guys. We're going to keep jamming here. We've got a lot of questions to get through. All right, Connor Brooks writes in, short and sweet here, guys. 7.5 or 8s for handicap. Go.
Depends on the yardage. Connor, what's your yardage?
Yeah, Connor, what's your yardage?
I mean,
Let's ask him.
I will say, personally, and this is just my opinion, I shoot 7.5s with 27 everywhere. Now, a long-time shooter and one of the top handicap shooters, Lee Castle out of Colorado, and Lee was a friend of mine. Lee broke 100 straights from the 27. One-eyed shooter also, but Lee shot super handicap 8s all the time. So, and it also matters to, I think, at that distance from the 27 on your time of year.
Yes.
So,
okay.
Wintertime for sure 8s. Now, you could shoot, or 7.5s. You could shoot 8s in humid or southern areas, I think, but I like the 7.5s. But I personally, I would shoot 8 shot all the way back to like the 23.
Okay, so 19
That's
to
my
23,
preference.
8s are fine. After you get into that 24 and back, you're saying 7.5's just better shot for that yardage.
Yes.
Yeah, and I agree. I think there's places in the country where you could shoot 8s. If you go to Vernal or Spanish Fort in the summertime, you got that thin air. I mean, you could shoot 8s all day long. There's clubs in California, 8s are going to work fine. I just
Vegas,
think
zero humidity out here.
coast to coast, I don't want to worry about it. I don't want to think about it. One less thing, kind of like the Forrest Gump. It's one less thing to think about. Shoot the 7.5 from the fence, and you'll never regret it.
That's right.
Otherwise, if you want to change it based on the season or based on the humidity or the background, well, then there's a couple applications where I could, I'll say I'll shoot 8s, but then I've got another skew of shells. Then I've got 8s over here, 7.5s over here. I'm packing these, packing those. Let's just not make it so complicated. Just give me the damn 7.5.
I use 2 skews.
2 skews. I'm just like Rick. 2 skews. I got a light 8 shell and I got a handicap 7.5. Keep it simple. The KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what I do, and just move forward.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah. Getting it down to 2 types of ammo, simplify your life, Yep. Now, I think since we're on the subject, because people are always asking who maybe don't know, and I'll just give everybody a recap. Rick is shooting his light 8s for his singles and first shot of doubles, and he's shooting his handicap load for obviously handicap and his second shot of doubles, whereas Zach is shooting his lights for singles and his lights for both shots of dubs. And he puts 1 box on the ground for doubles, but that's a whole nother episode. And then for his handicap, he's shooting a Nitro 27 7.5. All right. But Connor, thank you for the question. We appreciate you jumping on there and putting that in. Good discussion here. All right. John Turner just wanted to write in really quick and say, enjoy the information. Keep it going. Thank you, John.
Thanks,
we
John.
We appreciate that. Now, Aaron has not only come in here with a twofer. I'm seeing a couple comments from Aaron on here. So top fan.
This is
It looks like he's got about 3 questions
cheating right here. He's coming in getting twofers and
3-fers.
Right.
It's a rare 3-fer. Yeah. But Aaron does ask a really good question. When you coming to Indiana to give lessons? So we're going to allow that one to come through.
I'm looking at it on here too. Aaron, my plan is to try to get out there. It'd be really hard, I think, to get out already this year, possibly. I don't know. I did teach some private lessons at Kingen, and Gooch invited us to come out. They have a big added money Calcutta shoot coming up, and of course it's during Vegas, so we can't make it. The weekend prior, which we're going to be traveling or already be there, but. I'm going to get a hold of the King and Gun Club. It was a great little club I did the lessons at, and I think it'd be a perfect spot, centrally located. I'll be doing some lessons there, and I also do lessons yearly down at Indian Creek in Georgetown. So that's Jason and Wanda Seitz own that club, mother and son, and everybody knows Jason. So, but I'll be doing it probably 2 spots, and we'll get it out there on the podcast. So I appreciate the shout out and the question.
Good question for sure. I want to say Connor might have written in here and answered our
something
question.
Dinged. I heard it.
Yeah, I heard a ding come in. Let's see here. We do have a reply. Connor did reply, and he said, I just started shooting ATA, so I am at the 19, but if I make it back to the 25 to the 27, what do you prefer? Good news, Connor. We already answered your question.
Yeah, that's
You're
right.
Good
we did.
to go. Yeah, thank you for writing in. Thank you for responding.
But, Connor, listen, you're on the 19. Shoot light 8s. That's all you need. That's all you need. You'll break 100 straight from the 19 shooting light 8s. No problem.
Yep, light 8s for sure. Yeah. Okay. So and listen, Aaron, we're gonna allow this again because your great question about when is Rick coming to Indiana. Okay, Aaron's got one more for us, guys.
All right, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a real quick break, and I've got something that I'm so excited to announce. Trap Shooting USA has now become the official magazine of the Trap Talk podcast.
No, it's not only Trap Shooting USA now. It's Wing and Clay Life, Lady Outdoor Lifestyles, and Clay Shooting USA.
I'm just really excited because they make such a high-quality magazine. I mean, if you guys haven't had these magazines and you actually get to touch them in your hands, they've got really thick paper, they're really glossy, and they keep it really cool. I mean, I just love it.
The Traveling Gunsmith, and then in this newest episode, we have...
Oh, man. Look at those handsome guys. I love this. I love it. All right, folks, we got to take a real quick break and acknowledge the official target of the ATA, White Flyer. They've been sponsoring us since the beginning, and they make a great target. What do you think, Rick?
It's the best target in the ATA. Shout out to everybody there, all the reps, Bill Daniels, Josh Taylor, Nick Arnold, Robert Crow, everything they do for the sport and all the shoots. Really appreciate it.
They're always there. They're always trying to make a better target, and they're always supporting the game that we love so much. With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
All right, Trap Talk listeners, let's take a couple seconds and thank a couple more sponsors. First of all, Remington's been with us since day one. I've been shooting these shells since 2007. I shoot the Nitro 27 from the 27-yard line, ounce and eighth, 7.5, and STS, ounce and eighth, eighths for singles and doubles. They've worked great for me, as they do a lot of top shooters all around the country. Give them a try. Don't forget the Gun Club line when you're practicing and you're wanting to save a little bit of money.
We'd also like to thank another sponsor, Outlaw Engineering. Randy Freston, R2. I've known Randy since 1988. They do engineering, surveying, drafting, GIS, civil, structural, land development, wetland permitting. They do it all.
And they're friends of trap shooters. I mean, they're a trap shooting family. They've been in the ATA forever. His dad's been involved. They're involved. They're a beautiful family. They're great people. And we just love that they listen to the show, and we love that they support Trap Talk.
Yeah, his dad was past president in 1989. So I really want to thank those guys for the support and really appreciate it here at Trap Talk.
With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
If you had to listen to the same song on repeat while shooting, what would your song of choice be? Need some new material. Now, maybe we should start off with, what does Pat Lamont use as his song? I mean, that's always a crowd favorite.
Zach,
Zach, you're the only one who remembers.
It's Kesha. It's Cool Kids, or I think it's
I think it is. I think it is Kesha.
Cool Kids by Kesha, but
but check it out.
Honestly,
Aaron.
I know me and Rick don't listen to music, so I feel like we're gonna have a very similar response.
I used to listen to music, and back in the day, I mean, I listened to everything from
what I would do if when I listened to music and when I found worked well was, first of all, if you were going to listen to one song on repeat, find a song with really good breaks to it, which means short stop in and short stop out. So, like, if a song has like a slow intro of 30 seconds and then a slow outro of 30 seconds, well, then you're not hearing it, right? So, like, I wanted something that the music started right at 1 second, and then at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, if it started again, it was just back in the same song. Because sometimes if you were on that song and you were going to mount the gun and then it was like changing from the same song to the same song, there was like a dead silence for 10 or 15 seconds. And I even took it to the point where I edited my songs so that I could have it to where it was just always basically on the loop or the track or the hook, if you will.
Was that on your Sony Walkman?
Yeah. I used to carry around an 8-track, right? And so there's like one word of advice. And then the next I would say is tailor your music selection for what you're shooting. When I was shooting singles, I was listening to Nirvana, like kind of this slow monotone, like zone me out, like, Seattle Deadhead kind of, music. And then when I'm listening to, when I'm going into shooting Handicap, I was like shooting, Judas Priest or like something with a little bit more pop to it, because I wanted to wake up and I wanted to really attack. So I think music controls your mood. And if you're shooting singles, you probably don't want to be all revved up when you're shooting singles.
No.
You want to be a little bit more
don't be
like
listening
chill.
to any kid. Don't be listening to any Kid Rock shooting.
Yeah. You don't want ba da ba to bang da dang diddy diddy when you're out on the 16-yard line. I mean, save that for the 27. And stay aggressive. As far as specific songs, just whatever you like. Whatever you like.
Well, Aaron, thank you for the question. That's good. We know, like, for example, I think Matt Bartholow listens to music, and he would always say, I listen to the hardest, fastest, stuff that I can listen to. So
he likes that, though. He cranks
whatever is going to work for you. Aaron, thank you for all the questions that you sent in. We really
Yes, you did. Thanks, Aaron.
7 of them.
Yeah, that was really good. All right, moving on here, guys. I'm going to scroll down here past Connor. All right.
You missed one.
No, it resorted because I refreshed it. We're good.
Yeah.
All right. So Kurt Grilling writes in and says, could you explain the added monies? The Lewis and the Skins game, that get played. I'm not familiar with the skins. I think that lots of people don't really understand how they work. Aaron, I'm going to second what you're saying here. I know a lot of people are playing the Lewis. Not everybody understands it. They don't understand the Great Eastern. They just don't understand a lot of these kind of, added money things that they're participating, these options that they're playing. So, do you guys know what the skin game is, though? That one I'm not familiar with.
No, I've not heard that. It could be
I've
out of
never
money
heard
or
skins.
something. Yeah,
I've never heard
Okay.
skins. Maybe that's a state where they call it something, and it could be a Ford purse or something like that. where
Yeah,
they
it
call
could be like-
something different.
yeah.
That type
Okay.
of situation.
which they don't even do Ford purses anymore.
Yeah, I haven't seen a Ford purse in forever. I think they did have it up at Michigan State shoot this year. They had a Ford, and they had a 50s, but it wasn't a perfect 50s. It was like a modified 50s, where if you broke the first one and the last one or something like that.
Yeah.
But as far as added money goes, every
Yeah.
single shoot has a different way of giving out their added money. There's no rhyme or reason to it. They could decide, like at Nevada, they're giving all the money to the handicap winner on Sunday in silver, or whatever it might be.
Well,
that's up to the club,
Not
right?
exactly, but we definitely have a lot of options here that they
Now,
can run.
At Nevada, John, are you doing added money for in-state only?
No, that's not how we're doing it. So we just
Okay.
have this year. What's happening is we have this thing called a Nevada purse that the Nevada Hall of Fame and the NSTA put together, and that is the only thing at the Nevada State Shoot that's just for Nevada. It's a $1,500 purse that's going to go to the category winners, basically, of HOA. So other
is
than
that what it is?
Yeah, and that's just, this is the first time we're doing it. We wanted to do just a little purse, just for them. So the Hall of Fame kind of stepped up and put that together with us. Other than that, though, everything else we have.
Did my state change then? So I'm a Nevada resident now. I'm just kidding.
I mean, listen, I'm ready.
I
You
told
can use
Bullard-
my address.
I told
I'm ready.
Bullard that, and Bullard's like, "That's crap." No. So, getting back to the question that Kurt has. So, added money is always given out, and it's divided up. However, I mean, that's just whatever. That doesn't cost you anything. Now, the options as far as Lewis, your 50s, your 25s, your Great Eastern, your yardage purse, or your jackpot purse, meaning jackpot is usually a 50-30-20 or 40-30-20-10 purse, and it's ties divide. I'm not a big advocate of purses that are even high gun. Even with my shooting ability, I just believe that, you're throwing in the money. That's just me. That's my opinion. But so you take like the Great Eastern purse, which I think is one of the best purses out there. It's usually between
Out here in
25
Vegas, we call it the Great Western Vegas purse, Rick.
And how much is it out there? It's 25.
We're going to do
John?
25, 15, 10, 25,
No,
15,
how much
10,
does it
and
cost?
$30. We're going to do a $30 on it. Yeah.
So the purse is always the same way, and it's a 6-place purse. So it pays out 25 to first, 15 to second, 10 to third, 25 to fourth, 15 to fifth, and 10 to sixth. So
Great purse, yeah.
breaking that down, it could be 100 gets 25, and then your second's 99, 98, 97, 96, 95. So I've been on the end of breaking a 97 and been the lone 7.
And then the
And
200s.
actually made more money than the
Than the top
champion in
score.
that purse. It's a great purse. Now that purse was originally originated in the Great Eastern Gun Club in Ohio,
Right.
which was owned by the late great Aiden Kaufman. So that's a great purse.
We wanted to do it this year in Vegas because honestly, I saw how profitable it was for everybody in the back fence shootout. I mean,
yes,
it was
because
huge.
that's one of our
huge.
big deals.
It's a great option.
Yeah.
I think if there's any option that's on every single handicap in the country, it should be the Great Eastern, Great Western style, because really it's saying, okay, I can hit the top 4. Or top 6, where with a jackpot, usually it's top 3 or top 4. And some people don't necessarily think that they can get to the top 3 or the top 4. But when you start saying, okay, top 6, I could get into the top 6. I mean, that's a reasonable ask. And it generally pays out pretty good for what you're laying. I mean, you're laying $30 and you're getting something in addition to that. But the one thing I want to piggyback on that we skipped over with the added money, I think in his question, he was asking, what about added money to options? And so, like, if you have a Lewis class and you have money added to it. Like example, at the Missouri State Shoot this year, they had added money to the high overall Lewis. They put an extra $2,000 in there. All that means, for your understanding, is that you have to play the option to get in on the pot, but the pot's already been seeded with $2,000.
Yep.
So everybody puts in their 20 on top, and that gets added to the 2,000, right? So you have to play to get in it, but it already has a little sweetener. So whenever there's added money in a Lewis, I play it. I mean, I play the Lewis every time anyway, but if you're like on the borderline, do I play the Lewis or not play the Lewis? And you go to a club where they add money to the Lewis, example, Tucson, the Martin Lewis, things like that.
Yeah.
You need to play it. There's no question, because return on investment, you're laying $20 into something that already has been seeded with a jackpot. It's like going to casinos and paying the extra dollar on the progressive. Like you'd be dumb not to play the progressive. You have to play it in there.
you're getting an overlay on your money. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's really good. So great question for sure, and I agree with what Kurt's saying here. Some people just don't understand, like, what are the mechanics, right, of how this works. So Rick, with you laying out the Great Eastern, but that's going to be a lot of the same for your classic Lewis also. It's just how many payment groups are there, right? Like, so we're doing 4 payment groups for our Lewis, right? And we're doing it 60-40. It's not high gun, right? So it's basically 60-40 with 4 payment groups. And so 4 places are going to have a chance, at some of this Lewis money.
8 scores, actually. 8 scores.
Oh, 8 scores, yeah.
The way this system is set up, if you've got a 100% Lewis payout, if you have 100 people and it's 4 splits, that means they're going to take that number, they're going to divide it by 4. It's 25. So if the 100 is the top score, they're going to go down 25 people, and it's not necessarily scores, it's people, because there could be multiple people with the same score. And then wherever that goes down the list, that's the next hit. So 4 splits means they divide it by 4, and there's your 4 splits. 3 splits means they divide it by 3, and there's your 3 splits on however many people there are. 60-40 means it's 2 scores bunch. So 199, and then it goes down. And then 94, 93, and then it goes down. And 88, 87, and then it goes down. So I think numbers will
a lot of people's biggest question, Zach, is, okay, if the score is 97 for the handicap, what's the next jump down? Is it always 25 down?
Well, it's depending on how many entries you have.
It depends on the entries. So you never know what it's actually going to be.
Okay.
You don't.
You can't, but like in yours, I could estimate. So like for you, that Lewis split right there, it's 4 payment groups. So if 100 people go in, we know that you're going to have 25 people movements on each of those splits. Now, where those scores lie, if you're looking at it and you're at Spanish Fort and there's a crap ton of 99s and 98s, well, then the next split might be 96 or 95, because if you've got all your top scores in that first 25 numbers, I've seen 60-40 splits where it goes 100, 99, 98, 97 in the first 2 Lewises, because there was that many 100s, 99s, 98s, and 97s that they took up half of the scores that were in the Lewis, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, and just so you know, most Lewises usually are 1 money.
Correct. Most.
Instead
but I do
of
see some gun clubs going to the 60-40 because they're trying to spread the love out. And when they are doing a 60-40 Lewis, they're doing a $25 one like this. All of the 100% Lewises that I've seen are $10 or $20. I don't see a lot of $25 100%.
Yeah, so there's a big theme here in Vegas where, as you guys know, a lot of people play the options. We end up with some pretty big, purses here on all the options. A lot of play here. And the board has always been really big on saying, hey, can we spread it a little bit?
Spread the wealth.
The price is 25, but it's a 60-44 with 4 payment groups. So
I think it's fair.
But hey, Kurt, that was a great question. Really appreciate you writing in. All right, we're moving on here.
Hey, Trop Talk listeners, let's take a quick second to thank a couple more amazing sponsors. SOS Clay's Shoot Management. They're doing a fantastic job. I love the app. I love being able to see everything on my phone instantaneously. It's freaking awesome. Rick, what do you think?
Yeah, Greg Pink and his group over there. I mean, they've got majority of the satellite grands, majority of the state shoots. I think it's 40+ state shoots they're doing. But the app, honestly, we were doing a little beta testing with that at the Spring Grand. It's awesome. You can see your squad, if they paid, You can see your options, your payouts, the whole works at your fingertips. Great deal. They're just
Ricky knew how much money he made before he even got off the line. He was like, "Hey, I'm buying lunch." I'm like, "Yeah, good job. We're good to go."
That's
we
right.
also got gun and trophy insurance. I mean, they're the best in the business. I know they're great price. Ricky, you're familiar with them, right?
Yeah, Cole and Larry Cushman been long-time supporters of myself, and I've been a supporter of them, and especially with my college team. We require insurance. It's so fast and easy to sign up and get your insurance in literally 10 minutes. You can have your guns insured, and they're just great. They're great to deal with. Like I said, you can do your trophies also, your wildlife animals and that such, and your guns. It's just a great
It's
product.
always good when you're
Great
traveling
product.
around to have that peace of mind and know that you don't have to worry about losing your stuff forever. And these are expensive things, especially when you got those Craig-offs. You got to keep them insured. So
Exactly.
with that being said,
let's get back to the show.
Let's go down to Andy Podnar. And Andy says, when I put tape over my left eye, it makes my entire vision cloudy and difficult to see. It seems better blacked out or closed. Have you ever seen this before? Recommendations. Shout out to the shot tracker for showing me how bad I lean on my left eye on the days I struggle. The data is obvious. I think he put date, but I think he meant to say the data is obvious. I have to go to one eye, it appears. Thanks. Andy, good question. There's a lot of us out there who shoot one eye, so we'll let the guys weigh in on this one for sure.
Well, I don't shoot taped, and I've tried it, and it makes that vision where my left eye, because I use both eyes, but I'm right eye dominant, but it makes my left eye really want to look at the tape, so to speak.
Yeah, that's what's happening to him. He's looking at the tape. Yeah,
like Tyler. He does it because he likes that almost like tunnel vision.
Okay.
And so it's all preference. I mean, the best thing to do, instead of putting the tape on, in my opinion, and I don't have any in the office here sitting by me. I think actually they're in my fifth wheel, is use the dot, or the best thing in my opinion is the ones that have all the lines, the graph.
the shooter's helper.
Yeah, and that really, because you start with one that's really blacked out, and then you adjust and adjust and adjust, and I think that is kind of the way to go.
I think you're right, though, Rick. I think you're right on his comment about the blurriness, though, because Tish, she shoots a dot now, but when she first started, she used Scotch tape, right? And she would say "Oh, I'm looking at the Scotch tape." Right? When she switched to electrical tape, though, like black tape,
different
that
story.
actually that went away. But her goal was to get down to the dot so she could still have that peripheral, and so now it's not a thing. But I think maybe he is just looking at that tape, huh, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, the problem is if you go to the tape and then you look at the tape, it defeats the purpose of the tape.
The purpose
of the tape.
You're like, oh, I got to read the tape, right? So like the reality, and obviously we all have a hard time controlling what our eyes do, and it becomes harder as you get older. I mean, I don't have a problem with my eyes now at 34, but they were a lot better 15 years ago than they are now, and I'm like, I can only imagine how bad it's going to get. But what I will say is, people that put that tape on, it's there to stop your eye from looking, not for you to pay attention to it. If you look through and you just look at the target, that blurriness will go away. I would say he's probably keeping his eyes much too close to the tape, and he's paying way too much attention to the tape because it's there and it's causing him a visual distraction, and that's what makes everything blurry, instead of looking with his right eye and looking out past the gun. He should be pushing that right eye out past the gun where the trap house is in relationship to where the targets are coming out.
Yes.
Agreed.
Fact.
Yep, great question. Hey, guys, small update. Alana wrote back into Randy Freston's comment about having Matt be the guard.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
And she said, oh, he does. I believe it, too. I believe it. If you know Matt, you would believe it. All right. So thank you, Facebook, for those great questions. And we have a couple more questions, guys, for people who wrote in to our Ask Us at traptalkpodcast.com. Again, if you have questions, please feel free to email them to us. I think this is going really well. So in the future, we'll do more of these Facebook generated ones. I think this was really fun.
We missed Josh Vanderpecken's question, or whatever how you say
Zach is right. I'm going to go with Josh Von's Precken.
I can't see it, so
yeah, but that was a good try. So, false alarm. We're going to stay on Facebook. One more question here. What is the most important thing to teach a new youth shooter? I'm glad you did this, because Josh was the first person actually to write in on
I won't
our
forget you, Josh.
post
I'm here for you.
Yeah, so Josh, you have Zach to thank for this one. What is the most important thing to teach a new youth shooter? Good question.
Gun safety, number one.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
And number two, gun fit. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Zach?
I think brand new youth shooter, if once they're safety, number one. I think fun. I think fun before fit. And the reason why I say fun before fit is because if they're having fun, they're going to learn, right? They're going to figure it out. Like, are they enjoying it? Now, do I want them going out there with something that's completely off? No, but I've had
That's why you make sure
now,
the gun fit.
Correct. But if you get like a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old that's going out with
you're
a
not going to
410
teach a 6-year-old.
I have.
I mean,
and I've seen them go
Zach
out,
is
and
open to all students, Rick.
Yeah,
all
and
students,
they quit now.
6 years
so.
old.
so what I'll say is I've had a couple kids that were really, really young that the gun did not fit them. And it was hard to make it fit with either the budget of the family or what it was. It was just, an H&R, break open 410, throw a shell in there, whatever. And I think for that situation, this is a very beginner situation, right? Get them to break a couple targets, set the target on a straightaway, get them a little bit closer to the house, take them to a skeet field and put them on a station 7 and throw a target that they can hit at some level and get them breaking it and feeling comfortable breaking it. And then all of those other things, fundamentals, gun fit, all that stuff, obviously very, very important. As they get older, it becomes more and more and more important. But I think the newest shooter, youngest shooter, safety and fun. And Ricky always told me that. You got to have fun.
Well, you do have to have fun, but I think the gun needs to fit for them to have fun. So that's just my opinion.
Well, yeah, because if it's slapping you up in the face, it's
not
not
going to
too
have too much fun.
well, hey, thanks again to Facebook, guys. We're going to jump over to our email questions really quick. First one is coming in from Leanie Mayfield, and they write in, "Hello, guys. Nice meeting you at the Grand American this year, and thanks for having the barbecue on Tuesday. Listener appreciation party at the Grand American. If you weren't there, we missed you. It was a ton of fun. Come next year."
It was.
Yep. My question is about chokes. I shoot a Krieghoff KX6 Special for singles and handicap using Krieghoff chokes. Do you guys like the Krieghoff chokes, or do you use aftermarket chokes in your guns? Thanks for your time, Lenny.
I love the Krieghoff chokes.
Krieghoff chokes for Rick, yeah.
The titaniums. I have played around with other chokes. I think all of them are good chokes. I love the Briley products. Briley makes great chokes for every manufacturer out there alone. But yeah, I've just always shot what you can buy off the shelf, and other than the custom stock. So
yeah, I echo what Rick's saying here. I think the titanium chokes that come with the Krieghoff are great chokes. I think you put in what you like and go forward. I've used the Briley stuff in the past. Really like it. I've also shot guns that were Wilkinson done and thought that those chokes were fantastic. I know our friend is in that business now and taking that over, and I'm interested and curious to maybe see different patterns with that type of performance enhanced chokes or hone chokes. These are things that I'm interested in learning more about because I just haven't dealt with them a lot. So I don't want to say, okay, we're subject matter experts when we just, I've just put in that choke tube from Krieghoff and used it, and it's worked fine. My super skeet choke seems to break them okay. I mean, as Ricky would say, right? He's got that nice full in there, and I'm just kind of chipping away, at those singles. But I don't see an issue with it. Is there better? Maybe that's a question for the future.
Okay. Yeah, and I think you're referencing Robert Height, right? And Shotgun Works, right?
Which we're going to have Robert on the show here.
Working to get Robert on the show
because I
to
really
talk
want
about
to hear
that.
his perspective. So, like, I think that show for me is going to be a learning of, what is he doing? Why does it work? What did he learn from Tom Wilkinson?
Yeah.
What is that carryover and what's he doing with that business now? Because if there's something that you can get one more target out of 1,000 with, I think it's worth it. I mean, and that's something that I always felt, if you can get one bird, then why wouldn't we do it, right? If it's anything, whether it's a custom stock or a premium shell or a better choke tube or better glasses or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
This whole game, if you look at the end of the grand on the 1,000 birds, it's 1 or 2 or 3 birds between the top guy and the second guy every time. So if I can get one bird, I'm all in on that.
So, Rick, you have had Wilkinson barrels in the past, like you've mentioned.
Yes, I have.
Right? And so you're kind of familiar with that process and honing it. And I think you've even said before, Wilkinson would come through and, set it up in a certain way, right? Based on what you
your
wanted.
Point of impact, how you wanted it, in the barrel.
And I think it'll really be great to hear from Robert, because I think a lot of people have heard about this process and they've heard, so-and-so was shooting Wilkinson barrels and he set the point of impact for him. I think it's just going to be a great episode. So I hope we can get Robert to take a minute and come over. He's been super busy. So, but hey, that's a great question, Lenny. We really appreciate it. And Zach, what chokes are you running right now for singles?
I actually just took out my full choke for the first time in my whole career at the Heartland Grand, and I put an improved modified in. And
why is he lying to us? We know this.
Yeah, he used to shoot other ones. Don't lie. He used to shoot them red chokes.
But I didn't know those were, I didn't know. I did try those and they worked fine enough, but it was a full. So it was never a different. I mean, it was a full choke.
Right.
But there was
Are you sure? That thing didn't throw that through like a friggin' IC improved skeet.
Hey, it was working, baby. That's all I can say. But
all right, Lenny, thank you for the question. Great question. All right, next one up is coming in from Mitch from La Canada, California. And Mitch writes in and says, "Hello, Trap Talk podcast. I have a listener question regarding barrel length. I am a 5'7", 150-pound male with short arms. So I've always shot 30-inch over-unders and 28-inch autos. I'm looking to get I'm looking to get a more serious gun, but I'm just not sure if I should step up to 32-inch over-unders that are in vogue. Oh, okay. The folks at my local Clay Sports store, however, say my reduced 13 7/8 length of pull would not be proportioned well against a 32-inch barrel. Should I stick with the 30s, or should I move to the 32s? Thank you for all the detail there, Mitch. We appreciate it. We need it.
I shoot 30s, and I'm 6'2" and 280, 290 now, whatever I am. I haven't. So it's all preference. Now, as far as with the 13 7/8 length of pull, I shoot a 16-inch length of pull. But here's the thing: if you want to try a 32, go try a 32. It's going to move different because it's going to be a little more barrel heavy with the shorter stock. The way to correct that is to add a little bit of weight in that stock to counterbalance it. So that's what would be my recommendation.
To keep the balance of the gun, if he goes to 32, maybe he puts a little more weight in the back to keep it more balanced for him on the swing. Is that what you're thinking?
In between the hands. So what's going to happen is with that short stock, what they're referring to is it might be a little heavy on the front in proportion, right? Because there's less wood on the back. So your point of center balance on that is going to be moved forward past.
It's going to be about the middle
of the forearm.
Of the forearm to the end of the forearm, depending on and it depends on what gun he's wanting to buy, too.
And I was just going to echo that is a 32-inch Perazzi and a 32-inch Krieghoff barrel move differently, and a 32-inch
way
Kohler
different,
barrel way different. So we're talking about barrel length. He could probably find a 32 or a 34 barrel that he loves, or he could find a 28-inch barrel that's heavy and doggy that doesn't work well for him. So I think it has less to do with barrel length. And it has more to do with balancing the gun and what works well in his hands and what he moves well, and also his type of move, right? But to say that he needs a longer barrel to break more target, I don't think that's right either. I think he could break them with the 30s, no problem. So, how do you swing them? We got to get down to how are you swinging it? Are you swinging it and you're slow and behind, or are you swinging it and you're too fast?
The brand of the gun is what we need to know.
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, everything.
Yeah. So
and maybe
we might need
how
some
he
follow-up.
moves it.
Yeah, some follow-up information here from Mitch. But I think he wanted to put in that, hey, I'm 5'7", 150. So
he's
maybe,
a smaller statured guy, which is fine.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's got no issue to it. It's all about, okay, what's he shooting for a gun, or what's he wanting to get, what's he looking at, and going from there,
right?
Versus just saying, okay, this doesn't work, or the guy at the gun store said it's good, didn't work.
Here's the question I would ask yourself when you go back and you shoot with the gun you have now. It's Dave, right?
No, this is Mitch.
Mitch. When you go shoot your gun the way it is now, start to analyze. Do you feel like you're whipping past everything, or do you feel like you're slow and sluggish? If you're slow and sluggish, I don't think more barrel is going to help you, right? Unless it's a different brand. If you're staying in the same brand and you're already slow and sluggish, don't add more length in the same brand. Now, if you change brands, that might be a whole nother discussion. But if you feel like you're whipping past everything in your brand, well, then you could maybe add a couple inches and it's not going to hurt you. But it's all based on your swing, just like golf clubs. Everybody swings different golf clubs because they're different size people. I mean,
that's right.
It's different.
Right. Yeah. Now, for asking for a friend, if they are shooting a Parazzi, for example, and feel like they are whipping past some of the birds, what's the advice there?
I would add a little bit of weight, John, for you. I would take some tape weights off that you can get at the golf store,
the front of the gun,
okay,
and literally put them in between the barrel and the rib, inside the fore end, and maybe do like one strip. Try it.
One strip.
Add a second one, and you should usually no more than two. I mean, because what happens then you get it too heavy.
Yeah,
and then it just
and you're pushing too hard. Here's another thing, John. How's your front grip hand? Are you pulling it back towards the receiver? Are you in the middle of the forearm? Or are you on the front? I mean, where are you at there?
Yeah, I have my index finger pointed out. It's out. Like my index finger is at the end. Yeah, it's at the end. So I'm not.
So
too
you
far
don't have
back
any
on the
room
hand.
to go out more. But like, there's a lot of people that I see that are kind of choking up on that forearm, and they're on the edge.
I'm out.
Where
I'm
if
out.
they're on the edge and they feel whippy, they can move their hand forward a little bit, like Rick does, and that's going to smooth out the gun a lot, even without the weight.
If I moved my hand forward, if I moved my hand forward, I would wrap around the front of the fore end. Yeah. So this tape weight, though, Rick, is how much weight is a strip of tape weight? Is it like a couple ounces or something? It's
ounce
like
or two.
An ounce. Oh, okay.
It's less than an ounce usually.
What do they use it in golf for? They put it on golf clubs?
Put it on the golf clubs. Yeah.
Oh,
the heads.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Well, John will be at the golf store tomorrow. Hey guys, there's $23,000 worth of silver on the line in Vegas.
John, listen. Amazon, they can have that baby there tomorrow.
Oh yeah, what am I thinking? Yeah, Prime, baby. You got to go Prime.
Make it easy, John. You're always making it so hard.
I'm telling you, story of my life. Well, Mitch, thank you for the question. I appreciate that. It might just be the secret to all of my woes. All right, guys, thank you very much for answering the questions. Facebook fans, thank you for writing in. We really appreciate it. That was a lot of fun. Again, if you want to send us your questions, it's askus@traptalkpodcast.com. Send them in, and I'll get these guys to answer them for you. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Good luck.
Have a great night. All right, folks, we got to take another quick break and thank one of our show sponsors, 73 Pointers Ranch, Jonesburg, Missouri. Rick and Carla Burke, best place in the area to go shoot chuckers and pheasants and have a great time. Rick, we got to get you down there.
Yeah, I need to come in. Hopefully I can do some hunting with you guys and come to your the annual clay shoot in August right after the Grand.
It's a lot of fun. It's the Optimist Club charity shoot. They throw a charity shoot. They put it on, and it's wonderful. I think last year they had over 100 entries into it, and it's just a good time. With that being said, Trap Talk listeners, if you love everything about Trap Talk, please subscribe to our page Also, throw some likes on the videos that you enjoy. It really means the world to us.
Yeah, comment on each episode. We read them. We respond to them.
And the Trap Talk podcast is brought to you in part by
RM Shooting Clinics. Have Ricky take your game to the next level. If you want to shoot hundreds, give Ricky a call today. Zach Nannini Financial. We believe in putting people first.